Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're unearthing a story that really, well, it embodies that saying, where there's a will, there's a way. Especially when that will aligns with immense spiritual merit. We're talking about Visakha, an extraordinary figure from ancient Buddhist texts.
Right, so our source material, it's this really rich classical narrative.
Okay.
And it details the life, the meritorious deeds of Visakha.
The chief lay disciple you mentioned.
Exactly, a chief lay disciple of the Buddha. Yeah, it's quite a fascinating account.
So our mission for this deep dive is to pull out the most insightful bits from this incredible story. You're going to discover some maybe surprising things about ancient society, these remarkable standards of beauty.
Oh, definitely.
And really profound lessons on wisdom, generosity, spiritual growth that still resonate, thousands of years later. As we get into her journey, what strikes you first?
Well, we start with Visakha's early life. She was born into just immense wealth in a city called Badia. Her parents were Dhananjaya and Sumanadevi.
Right.
And what's immediately striking is that her whole family, including her grandfather Menka, they were already recognized as greatly meritorious as people in the kingdom.
Yeah, it's fascinating that her grandfather, Metaka, was one of these 5 specific, greatly meritorious as individuals, and that list included him, his wife, his son, his daughter-in-law, and even his slave, Puna. That's quite something.
It really is.
What does including a slave tell us about how they saw merit back then? Was it separate from social status?
It really speaks volumes, doesn't it? It suggests that while spiritual merit could transcend earthly hierarchies, that personal virtue, good deeds, they could be recognized no matter your birth or station. So when Visakha was just 7 years old, the Buddha actually arrived at Badia.
Okay.
Her grandfather, Mentaka, he sent her out to meet him. She had 500 companions, each in their own chariot, plus 500 maidservants. Quite the entourage.
And this is where Visakha really stands out, even at 7. Unlike her companions, who all stayed in their chariots, she gets out. She recognizes this is a big moment and approaches the Buddha on foot. What does that tell us about her?
It just highlights this innate spiritual intelligence, doesn't it?
Yeah.
A kind of deep inner wisdom. She saw the significance, the importance of encountering the Buddha, where her peers just missed it.
Right, they stayed put.
Exactly. And the impact was immediate, huge. After hearing the Buddha's teaching, both she and her grandfather, Mitaka, attained stream entry.
Wow. Both of them.
Both of them.
And stream entry, just for clarity, that's a really big deal in Buddhism, isn't it? It's like the point of no return on the path to enlightenment, a fundamental shift.
Precisely. A profound shift. And right after that, Mitaka, showing his new faith, hosted the Buddha and his entire monastic community for half a month.
Half a month.
Yeah, demonstrating this, immediate and deep faith and generosity. It really sets the stage for the kind of devotion we see from Visakha throughout her life.
Okay, so this deep dive continues, and Visakha's life takes a big turn. The king of Kusala, Pasenadi, he wants one of King Bimbisara's greatly meritorious subjects in his own kingdom.
Right.
And Dhananjaya, Visakha's father, gets chosen.
So Dhananjaya moves his whole household. They settle in a new area, about 7 leagues from the major city of Savatthi, and he establishes this flourishing new city called Sakketa.
Sakketa, okay.
And this move, it not only expands the family's influence, but it also, it sets the stage for Visakha's marriage.
Ah, okay. So over in Savatthi, there's this prominent guy, Migara. His son, Putyavatana, is looking for a wife. But he has these incredibly specific standards, almost impossible standards. He wants a woman with the 5 perfections. What on earth were these, and what do they tell us about, beauty standards then?
Oh, they paint such a vivid picture. So first, her hair. It had to be like a peacock's tail. Long enough to touch her waist when it was down, but it had to naturally curl upwards at the ends.
Wow, okay, perfect length and curl. What else?
Second, her flesh, specifically her lips. They needed to be red, full, smooth, like a ripe bimba fruit. Very vibrant.
Got it. Lips like a bimba fruit. Number 3.
Third, her bones, which meant her teeth. They had to be perfectly white, really close set, no gaps, uniform, like a flawless row of diamonds or polished conch shells.
Incredible. That's quite a standard for teeth. What about skin?
Fourth, her skin had to be naturally smooth, lustrous, like it glowed, as if it were adorned with a fresh blue locust garland if she had darker skin, or a Kantakara flower garland if she was fair. The point was, this beauty had to radiate naturally, no makeup needed.
Naturally radiant skin. Okay, and the last one, this sounds like the kicker.
It really is. The 5th perfection may be the most extraordinary, Perpetual youth. She had to appear perpetually 16, even after having many children. A symbol of just enduring youth and vitality.
Appearing 16 forever, even after kids. That's demanding. It's like they wanted flawless natural beauty and eternal youth.
Pretty much. So Megara sends out 8 Brahmins, learned men, with a very valuable golden garland to find such a woman.
Right, the search party.
Exactly. They travel through many cities, and finally, during this festival in Sakata, the Visākhāvatthu festival, they find her. They find Visakha. And they confirm, yes, she has all 5 perfections.
Amazing. But what's really revealing is how her wisdom gets tested right then, isn't it? During that festival, suddenly a huge downpour starts.
Yes, a sudden cloud burst.
And her 500 maidens, they all scramble, run for cover. But Visakha, she just walks, calmly, dignified pace, letting her clothes, her ornaments get completely soaked.
Right. The Brahmins were, confused. They asked her, why didn't you run?
And her answer is just, wow, so much foresight. She explains that 4 types of people should never rush.
A crowned king, a royal elephant, an ascetic.
Right, the dignity aspect.
Exactly, and a woman. To rush, she said, is to lose your dignity. It invites criticism. It really speaks to the value they placed on composure, on decorum.
Such a strong sense of propriety. But she had another reason too, didn't she? A much more practical, almost startlingly pragmatic one.
She did. And this shows incredible foresight. She basically said, look, I'm like merchandise to be sold, Vikijeben.
Whoa.
Yeah. Her reasoning was, if I rush, if I slip and fall, if I break an arm or a leg, I become damaged goods, a burden on my family, instead of, a valuable asset going to another household.
But clothes and ornaments.
Clothes and ornaments, they can just dry. No permanent damage.
That is just incredible self-awareness. Balancing dignity with this really clear-eyed, practical self-preservation. You can see why the Brahmins were impressed.
Absolutely. That explanation, it sealed the deal. They offered her the golden garland right then.
And even then, she doesn't just leap at it. She asks about the groom's family, their status, their wealth. She points out her family is way wealthier.
Way wealthier.
But she still considers them of equal birth for the marriage. It shows her values weren't just about money, right?
Exactly. It speaks volumes about her character. And then the wedding preparations. They really showcase her family's staggering wealth. Her father wanted to make sure she never, ever need to ask anyone for anything.
And he definitely didn't hold back. We're talking 500 cartloads of gold coins.
500.
Then 500 of gold vessels, silver, copper, bronze, silks, cottons, ghee, oil, treacle, rice.
Everything imaginable.
Even farm tools. It's like setting her up as completely independent, almost like a queen in her new home.
Precisely. But the absolute showstopper, the centerpiece of this dowry, was the Mahalatapasatana, the great creeper ornament.
Ah, yes, the legendary ornament. How much was it worth again?
Its value was just astounding. 9 crores, that's 90 million, plus another 100,000 just for the labor involved.
90 million. For one piece of jewelry, what was it made of?
Thousands of nikas. That's a significant measure of gold back then, plus diamonds, pearls, coral, other gems. The structure was silver thread covered in golden bells, silver rings, and the crest.
The peacock, right.
Yes, a peacock. With 500 golden feathers on one side, 500 silver feathers on the other. Coral beak, gem eyes, silver legs. Just unbelievably intricate.
It sounds breathtaking. And didn't it make a sound like subtle music?
It did. Those 1,000 feathers created this soft, melodious sound, like divine music or a symphony. But only people nearby could tell it wasn't actual music.
Wow.
And the text directly links this ornament to Visakha's past life merit. Specifically, from donating robes and supplies to 20,000 monks under a previous Buddha, Kassapa Buddha. It was like her good karma literally materialized.
A physical manifestation of merit. That's incredible. And speaking of merit manifesting, there's that other amazing story, the miraculous cows.
Oh, yes. Her father tried to limit the number of cows she took in her dowry. He set up boundaries, an enclosure.
Tried to keep it reasonable, maybe.
Probably. But because of her merit from a past life where she'd generously given milk products to young monks, even when they said they'd had enough.
She insisted on giving more.
Right. So in this life, the cows just couldn't be contained. 60,000 oxen, 60,000 cows, 60,000 calves, plus bulls. They just burst out of the enclosure, far exceeding any limit her father set.
That's such a vivid picture of karma playing out, just unstoppable merit.
Exactly. It's a powerful illustration.
So when she finally arrives in Savatthi, she's wearing this magnificent Mahalatapasana, riding in an open chariot.
So the whole city could see her splendor. It was a truly grand entrance.
But arriving in her new home, things weren't immediately smooth sailing, were they?
Right.
There was this tension waiting for her.
Right. Her new father-in-law, Megara, he was a really devout supporter of, well, naked ascetics.
Okay.
And Visakha, being a stream mentor or someone on the Buddhist path, she viewed them very differently. With disdain, actually, seeing their practices as lacking shame and proper conduct.
So instant conflict potential. And it didn't take long to ignite, did it? Megara invites these ascetics for a meal.
And he orders Visakha to come and pay respects, to worship them.
And she refuses. Flat out, calls them shameless. That must have caused quite a stir.
Oh, absolutely. Major friction right away. And then later, another incident. She sees Megara eating this dish, honey rice. And she makes this comment, "My father-in-law is eating old karma."
Eating old karma? What did she mean by that?
Well, from her enlightened perspective, she meant he was enjoying the results of his past good deeds, his past merit.
Ah, okay. Like he's using up his good karma balance.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But Megara completely misunderstood. He thought she was insulting him, accusing him of eating something impure, maybe stale food, or worse.
Oh, dear.
And he flies into a rage, tries to kick her out of the house right then and there.
But Visakha, she stands her ground. She knows her rights, doesn't she?
She absolutely does. She reminds Megara, hey, I didn't come here alone. I came with 8 guarantor families backing me up. She demands a proper hearing to sort this out.
Smart move. And this hearing, this is where her incredible wisdom really comes to the fore, interpreting her father's advice.
Yes, the famous 10 admonitions. The arbitrators ask her about her actions, her words, and she takes this seemingly cryptic advice her father gave her before she left home and explains its profound ethical and practical meaning. It's brilliant.
Okay, let's break these down. They offer such timeless wisdom. Number 1, don't carry fire from within to without. What did she mean?
She explained it means, don't gossip about your in-laws or your husband outside the home. Don't spread negativity or complaints. That kind of talk is like a destructive fire, harming everyone.
Got it. Keep family matters private. And the opposite, number 2, don't carry fire from without to within.
Right. Don't bring outside gossip, negativity, or disputes into the home, especially if it's about your in-laws. That's also a destructive fire, just bringing trouble inside.
Okay, control the flow of negativity, both ways. Number 3, give only to those who give back. Sounds quite practical.
It is. She interpreted this as being about lending. Lend or give resources to those who are reliable, who repay what they borrow. It encourages prudent management and fair relationships.
Fair sense. And number 4 follows logically. Don't give to those who don't give back.
Exactly. Don't keep lending to people who never repay. It avoids enabling bad habits and prevents your own resources from being drained unfairly. Pretty pragmatic.
Very pragmatic. But then number 5 seems to contradict that. Give to those who give back and those who don't. What's the shift here?
This is where she brings in compassion and charity. This refers to giving help to poor relatives, to friends in need, regardless of whether they can ever repay you. It's about generosity beyond just a transaction. It's about supporting your community, your kin.
Ah, I see. So there's practical lending and then there's compassionate giving. That's a really important distinction. Okay, next set. Sit happily, eat happily, sleep happily. These sound like rules for daily conduct.
They are. Sit happily, men. Show respect. Don't sit down if your in-laws or husband are standing.
Okay. Simple respect. Eat happily.
Serve them first. Don't start eating before your in-laws or husband have been served. Again, respect and care.
Right. And sleep happily.
Tend to their needs first before going to bed yourself. Make sure they're comfortable. It's about prioritizing their well-being within the household structure.
So a clear code for showing respect and diligence as a daughter-in-law. Now the last 2 sound quite profound. Worship fire and worship inner deities.
Yes, these take on a deeper meaning. Worship fire, she explained, means respect your mother-in-law, father-in-law, and husband with the reverence you'd show a sacred fire, or maybe a powerful deity like a Naga king. Acknowledge their position and authority.
Treat them with deep respect and worship inner deities.
This means regard your mother-in-law, father-in-law, and husband as your own personal deities within the home. Honor their presence. Value them as if they were divine figures in your domestic life.
Wow. That reinterpretation just completely changes Megara's perception, doesn't it? It's not just clever wordplay, it's deep ethical insight.
It's a total game changer. Megara has this huge aha moment. He understands her wisdom, realizes his terrible mistake. The text says he literally prostrates himself before her.
He bows down to her?
Yes. and declares, "From today, you are my mother."
Incredible.
And from then on, she gets the name Migara, Migara's mother. It just shows the power of wisdom and clear communication to resolve conflict.
What a transformation in that household. And it sounds like Visakha's positive influence, her generosity, just kept growing after that.
It really did. Migara was completely won over. He finally invites the Buddha to their home. And even though those naked ascetics try to prevent him from hearing...
They tried to block him?
Yeah, they tried to distract him, block the doorway.
Yeah.
But the Buddha teaches him the Dhamma anyway. And Migara also attains stream entry.
Amazing. So father-in-law follows daughter-in-law onto the path.
Exactly. And his wife, Visakha's mother-in-law, followed suit the next day.
Oh.
The whole household dynamic shifted towards the Buddha's teaching.
And Visakha's own generosity just continued. Migara even gets her another ornament.
Yes. Showing his appreciation, he commissions a simpler but still valuable ornament for her daily wear, the Ganamahaka, worth 100,000.
Still quite something.
And she also received what are called the 8 boons directly from the Buddha. These were like special permissions, allowing her to continuously support the monks and nuns with robes, food, medicine, all sorts of requisites.
So she had official sanction for her massive generosity. And her family life itself was just extraordinary, wasn't it? Her lifespan, her descendants.
Unbelievable. She lived to be 120 years old.
120.
And apparently always looked as if she was still 16. That 5th perfection held true.
Wow.
She had 10 sons and 10 daughters. Each of them had 10 sons and 10 daughters.
Oh, my goodness.
And so on. It resulted in this huge lineage, 400 direct sons and daughters, leading to 8,000 living descendants in total. And the text emphasizes none of them died young.
8,000 descendants, all flourishing. What does that signify in the story?
It's shown as the fruit of her immense merit, not just benefiting her, but extending blessings across generations. A life lived so wholesomely that it created this incredible flourishing lineage. And her physical strength was also legendary.
Right, the strength of 5 elephants.
Yes. Apparently, King Pasenadi even tested this. He had an elephant released towards her.
Seriously?
Yes. And she did, casually pushed it back with 2 fingers, effortlessly.
Pushed an elephant back. Okay. Her exceptional nature is undeniable. Now back to that incredible ornament, the Mahalatapasatthana. What was its final destiny?
Right, the 9-core masterpiece. So during another festival, Visakha goes to the monastery. She takes off the grand ornament at the entrance, feeling it's too ostentatious for a sacred place.
Respectful.
She gives it to her maid to hold on to, but the maid forgets it, leaves it behind.
Oh, no.
Anandathera, the Buddha's attendant, finds it. When Visakha finds out, her reaction is immediate and profound.
What does she say?
She declares that anything touched by a monk, especially someone like Ananda, is now considered offered to the Sangha, the monastic community. She could no longer wear it herself.
Wow, that's dedication. So what does she do?
She decides to sell it and use the money to buy something suitable for the Sangha. Complete commitment.
But wait, wasn't it worth 90 million? Who could possibly afford to buy it?
Exactly. No one could afford it. So in a unique twist, Visakha buys it herself, paying the full 9 crores plus the 100,000 for the original labor costs.
She buys her own ornament back to donate the value. That's intricate.
It really is. Then the Buddha advises her on how to use that immense sum 9 crores. He suggests building a residence for the Sangha at the eastern gate of the city.
And this became the huge monastery project.
The huge monastery project. She spent the 9 crores just acquiring the land. Then another 9 crores on constructing this incredible building, 1,000 rooms.
1,000 rooms?
Yes, 500 rooms on the ground floor, 500 on the upper floor. And it was built incredibly quickly, just 9 months.
9 months for a 1,000-room building. How is that even possible?
Well, the texts imply her merit facilitated things, perhaps inspiring intense effort from everyone involved. And the pinnacle, a massive gold finial apparently weighing as much as 60 water pots, just sheer scale.
Mind-boggling scale and generosity, building this monumental structure, and the dedication ceremony must have been equally impressive.
It was. She hosted a 4-month-long offering for the entire Sangha. Spent another 9 crores just on the dedication ceremony.
So let's tally that up. 9 crore for the ornament value, 9 crore for the land, 9 crore for construction, 9 crore for the dedication.
That's 27 crores in total. An absolutely staggering contribution to the Buddha's dispensation over her lifetime, stemming initially from that one ornament.
27 crores, just unbelievable commitment. And on that dedication day, surrounded by her huge family, she chants these verses.
Yes, 5 verses expressing her deep joy. But it wasn't just celebrating the present moment. She was revealing that this act, building the monastery, dedicating it, was the direct fulfillment of aspirations she had made lifetimes ago.
Lifetimes ago. How did people react to that?
Well, some of the monks who heard her actually thought she'd lost her mind. Sounded a bit boastful or strange, perhaps.
I can imagine.
But the Buddha, with his deeper insight, explained it. He told them, no, she's simply expressing the culmination, the fruition, of vows she made an entire eon ago under a previous Buddha named Pubbārāma.
An eon ago.
And then again, under Kassapa Buddha, her vow was specifically to become the chief female lay supporter of a future Buddha. Her entire life, all this merit, all this generosity was leading to this moment.
So her current life was the peak achievement of countless past lives of effort and aspiration. That's incredible.
It really puts her actions into a vast perspective.
And this brings us to that final core insight the Buddha shared, using Visakha's life as the example, the garland analogy.
Yes, he said, just as a skilled garland maker makes many garlands from a pile of flowers, so too should a mortal do much good.
Makes many garlands from a pile of flowers. How does that capture Visakha's life?
It's a beautiful metaphor, isn't it? It means if you have abundant resources like Visakha's immense wealth, but also her faith, her wisdom, her energy, her pile of flowers, you can and should weave them into countless beautiful, wholesome deeds. Many garlands.
So with great resources comes the potential for great good.
Exactly. Her life is the ultimate example. With great faith and abundant means, guided by wisdom, one can perform an extraordinary multitude of beneficial actions that ripple outwards.
What an incredible deep dive. Seriously, a life of just immense wealth, both spiritual and material. We've seen Visakha embody wisdom in everyday situations, show just unparalleled generosity, and ultimately fulfill these profound aspirations stretching across eons. Her story really drives home that true prosperity, true wealth, isn't just about what you possess, it's about what you do with it, the impact you create.
Absolutely. It's about the skillful weaving.
So, thinking about Visakha's incredible commitment, the sheer scale of her positive impact, it leaves us with a thought, doesn't it? What kind of garland, however big or small, might you be able to weave from the resources, the opportunities, the pile of flowers in your own life?